The Opinionated Idiot. The Opinionated Idiot live show.
Yeah, I know. It's fun. Always have that little button right there. Always have that little button right there, push before I come live. But anyway, I just want to come back and I will rewind. Apologize for that. I said it is May 4th. So May the 4th be with you, 2023. I want to welcome everybody into the Opinionated Idiot live show. And if it's not Kohberger, they don't want to watch. What are we all going to do when all this Kohberger stuff concludes? Gee, are all the true crimers going to be out of business here or what? But I do have some breaking Kohberger news for all of you. And I did have a show planned for tonight. So I am going to go through and execute that show because I want to pay tribute, not in like a weird way, but just going to look back at the 10 years of the Boston bombings to honor those victims that happened in Boston's very close to my heart. I was born and raised here, as you can hear by the accent. If this is your first time watching the show, and if this is the first time watching the show, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and sit back and relax. I know you're going to have a lot of fun this evening, but I do have a show planned. So I did have this show planned. So I am going to execute. The show that is going to be the big one this week will be Saturday. I have an amazing show planned for everybody. Everybody. So you're not going to want to miss Saturday Night Live. That's the Kohberger show. That's the Idaho show. But tonight we're going to go through with the 10 years looking back in the Boston Marathon bombing case. I'm going to go to the chats really quick, check in with everybody, and then we're going to continue with the show. And I'm telling you, you're all missing it. You're all missing it. Tonight, we're going to break this. We got two brand new Bryan Kohberger videos as the lead-in, and then we're going to go into the regular show. But let's do this first. I'm going to go up and look at the chitty chat. I have Victorine, always here in time. No, you were here. You were here. She says, hey, I've been slipping from first place. I'll have to settle for second. No, you are first. You are first. Look at this. We have an appearance from Papa Roger. Papa Roger in the house. We know that controversial name. Laura's here as always. She's one of my moderators. And she says, Papa Roger's in the house. MJC is here. Good to see you as well. Dr. Bob is always one of the mods. Thank you so much for checking in this evening. We got Kay in the house as well. Mama Styles is here. Jessica Crockett is here. Party of 5. I love that UV. Party of 5 is here. Chosen Rosen was up. Chosen Rosen is a moderator in the house. In the house. We have UEHL. St. Louis Blues here. She says, let's go. Yes, let's go. George is here as well. Thanks for checking in. YouTuber, generic name, is in the house as well. What else we have? AZ. Yo, AZ is here. AZ is a moderator. Yes, I know I was muted. I screwed that up. Christine Brown says, something tells me this is going to be a good one. It is going to be a good one. Erica here. Let's see. Muted. Hey. Thought I was losing my mind. Yeah, sometimes we do on this thing. Casey says, hello. Where's Tsunami? I wonder where Tsunami is. Eric is here as well. Paparachas. Let's see. Yes. 4,000. We passed 4,000 today. We did it. We passed 4,000 today. I'm so happy. I'm excited. 4,000 summeroons. 4,000 idiots have hung out and joined the channel. I love it. 4,000 idiots. Gator's here as well. Thanks for checking in. All right. Jen DC is here as well. I've got to everybody. Heather is here. Heather in the house. Good to see you. Yes, let's get to 5,000. The fastest growing true crime channel on YouTube right now. I love it. We're doing it. We're going to do it. All right. We got to get into the show first before I go into Bryan Kohberger and then go into the regular show that I had planned this evening. I have an update for you all, a quick update. And I'm telling you, they have to fix this tab situation in. If anybody from StreamYard's watching, here's a suggestion. Give the ability for the host to queue up multiple tabs. Just have them waiting in the background, and we're just going to bring them up really easy and hit play. All right. I have an update here. I talked about this story the other day. This is Alexa Bartell. She was the young lady that was driving on a highway and had rocks thrown down in her car from three scumbags and went through her windshield and ended up killing her. But they're facing their day in court today. So I want to play this through as well.
Posted in other news, for the very first time, family of the woman killed in a rock-throwing crime spree were able to see the three teens charged in her death. The family of Alexa Bartell in the courtroom as the defendants appeared before a judge today. Fox 31's Vicente Arenas also in the courtroom as well. Joining us live with the latest, Vicente.
Talia, very interesting to see this play out today. The family of Alexa Bartell was sitting in the front row of the courtroom, and just in front of them were the three suspects that were formally charged today. Family members of those suspects also in the courtroom.
The three 18-year-olds sat in the jury box just feet from each other during the hearing, each now officially charged with 13 counts. The charges ranging from first-degree murder to attempted murder to assault. Denise Mauder is an MSU professor of criminal justice and a former prosecutor.
I think they can prove that. I believe they feel very strong about it, and they don't want to back down from their position.
The three are accused of throwing rocks at 7 vehicles on April 19th in Jefferson County. 20-year-old Alexa Bartell was killed when one of the rocks went through her windshield. Her family in the courtroom today and saw the suspects for the first time.
They don't have to prove they actually intended murder or death. They just had to prove that they knowingly knew that this could possibly cause death or really hurt somebody.
The district attorney trying the trio for assaults on several other victims as well. Legal analysts say the additional victims will help prove the indifference the men had for people's lives. Former Denver prosecutor Craig Silverman.
The majority of cases end with a plea bargain, but I'm not sure that will happen here given the number of victims.
This guy reminds me of what is it? Cool Hand Luke. He doesn't look like him, but he has kind of that voice. What we have here is a failure to communicate. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie. I've probably aged myself a little bit, but go back and watch that. Paul Newman in that one. Really great movie.
We shall see how the evidence plays out.
Legal analysts say the teens may try to claim they didn't know the rocks were being thrown. Shortly after being arrested, they gave investigators details about the night Alexa Bartell was killed.
Who in their right mind would think that it would be okay to go up and throw rocks over an overpass onto passing cars? What maniacs do that? And I hope that these scumbags get every single thing, and I'm not trying to be, make a pun here, that's thrown at them. This is disgusting.
including saying they took pictures of her car
They
after
took pictures of her car after they committed this murder. Disgusting people.
it crashed.
Those three suspects now being held without bond. Their next hearing has been scheduled for May 16th, live at the Jefferson County Courthouse. Vicente Arenas, Fox 31.
All right. I didn't want to let that case go unheard. So, Alexa Bartel, rest in peace. And I hope that you get justice. I know there'll be justice in this case, and we'll keep following and reporting on that. I'm so pissed off about that. Disgusting individuals that should go to prison for the rest of their lives. To think that that's funny, to throw rocks down over a fucking overpass to kill someone. So see you later. Goodbye. They can be scrubbed from human society. They can sit behind bars for the rest of their life. Sick of that shit. People doing all this crazy bullshit. I can't right now. Whew, I got to calm down. I got to calm down. Okay, you've been here. I'm going to give you a little bit more Kohberger. Shout out to the Docket YouTube channel. If you haven't gone over, please go over and subscribe to the Docket. Support them. They're also on Twitter as well. They just broke 2 brand new Bryan Kohberger videos. And the first one is going to be a traffic stop. I believe it was from 10/14/22. And then they have body cam footage of the search of his apartment. Now, I have not watched these completely through because they came out so quick before I came live. So this is going to be a first time that I get to completely watch through with them with you. But I did scrub through some of it, and the body cam footage of the pullover is probably the best one because we actually get to hear and see him. It's pretty chilling and haunting. So let's play this here. This is a first.
Hello, I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was
forced
behind
to
you
turn
the whole
left.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
Let me just get this for you out.
You what?
I'm just going to get this out for you.
Okay.
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck in their intersection.
You see that registration valid through November 30th, 2022. And we know that he changed that about a week before that. Was to expire.
You have to make the left.
So here
So
too, I want to point
the
out.
appropriate thing for me to have done
Not-
just
You're
back up in
not
that
supposed to
situation?
block an intersection like that in Washington. So just by you blocking the
I'm trying to get hang on.
intersection, that's technically
Yeah, here, boom. There's the eyebrows. You can see the big. I mean, and AZ was pointing this out earlier in our chat. That high brow, that very defined brow. I mean, it'd be very hard to not recognize that and get that out of your mind. He's got very large eyes too. So it's just something that I would not forget if I saw those eyes. All right,
a
keep playing
ticketable
through.
violation, and then you're running a red light, so it's another ticketable offense. So you're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go, because a lot of people do what you just did, right? Is like you're sitting in the intersection waiting, and then turns, and then you're blocking. So
Yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn.
Mhm.
So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through.
oh
Did you see that?
no.
I feel like right before I made the turn, there was someone who made a right. They didn't have their their signal on. So I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would just advise, just don't enter the intersection until you can go, so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back up. And not.
I don't know if there's a best thing to do in that situation, because you're either going to back up into somebody or you're going to run a red light. So, or you're going to be.
So what I'm seeing here is this is just someone that has kind of an attitude that kind of challenges everything. You can see him challenging everything.
Sitting in an intersection. Yeah. There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh,
so even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines, like there's one white line and there's another one. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
Yeah. So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when you don't, when you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Yeah. I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I can find it for you. Yeah. One second. That looks good on a Hyundai. I don't see Pennsylvania registration like at all. Okay, let's see. Expires November 22nd or 2022. Okay. And
one of those is actually.
Yeah. Okay, that looks good. I'll hand that back to you. I'm just gonna go check your info. I'll try to find that RCW, the law for you, and I'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right.
So there's not going to be much here when the police officer gets in the car. It's just a lot of checking paperwork, stuff like that. So I'm probably just going to fast through this part here and just get to when there's the interaction at the end of the video. If you guys want to go back and watch the whole video, you can. But I'm going to skip up about 4 minutes. We'll take it from here. And then I'm going to play the apartment search video that I haven't even seen yet. But we'll get to take a look at that as well. One of my sleuthers in the background, Laura, was actually telling me, I don't think there's really much to that body cam video, the second one, but we'll play it anyway. We'll get it out there. And shout out to the docket. I'm sure all of you are subscribed to that channel over there. If you're not, go over and check out his or her YouTube channel. I believe it's his YouTube channel. He's also on Twitter as well. Big kudos to him. And the thing that's really good about this, and I was just thinking that the gag order that's being kind of joggled back and forth in court right now, this may be ceased. If they're releasing body cam footage now, that makes me believe that the gag order might be extinguished here pretty soon, and we start getting all this video footage and possibly the 911 call. This is a good thing for us, I guess. Good thing for the investigation, because it gives us more material to look over and speculate and go over and inform our opinions. So I don't know, Christine. I don't know the law as far as that. It's probably a public records request, and he was maybe the luck of the draw and just got it, or they're just starting to finally release all of this stuff. But this makes me believe that they're going to start releasing more of this stuff out to the public. Maybe they feel like they have enough evidence right now to keep going forward and put this stuff out there. So I really don't know. I'm going to have to see what transpires over the next couple of days. That's why I'm going to let kind of all this rest. I know everybody's going to jump on it, jump all over the place. There's more documents that have been released, and I'm just going to wait to let everybody form their opinion. And then on Saturday, we'll talk about it and stick to the facts, because you guys know that's what we do here on Opinionated Idiot. We use the evidence in this case to formulate our opinions, and we go from there. So let me keep playing through this.
Okay, so I found it. So I don't know what in Pennsylvania the where you go to find laws, but in Washington, it's called the Revised Code of Washington. So I'll try to turn my brightness up, but it's basically it's just called an RCW. So it's RCW 46.61.202. So it's no driver shall enter an intersection unless there is significant space on the other side of the intersection.
If you all just come into the room, please smash that like button down below. There's 57 people watching. Let's get to 50 likes. I think that's pretty easy to get to tonight. Maybe if we get over 100, I'll gift a membership. You can get into our backroom conversation on the Discord by becoming a member. And if you want to support that, you can hit the join button down below and just join. I have a $1.99 memberships that will get you into the Discord. So yeah, we'll go from there. We're just playing through this new Bryan Kohberger body cam footage from 10/14/22.
To accommodate the vehicle, he is operating without obstructing the passage
Hello,
of other
BBN
vehicles,
Turner.
despite
Welcome
any
into the
traffic
chat.
control signals.
New name here.
Signal indications to proceed. So you had a green light, so you're
ISP
thinking you can
Stacey,
go,
thank you.
but you're blocking the intersection. So that's if you're ever curious in any laws in Washington, just Revised Code of Washington. So I'm not writing a ticket or anything like that today. I understand you're from Pennsylvania, but in the future, don't proceed through the intersection. You can't get stopped for that alone unless you can clearly just clear it right away.
Okay.
So
So then basically, I understand.
you're just supposed to wait behind the white line. Drivers do it all the time, but
it never even occurred to me that that was actually something wrong. But
yeah.
Well, except for the fact that I was blocking the crosswalk, which is why
Yeah.
I went through.
And states vary a lot from laws. Like Pennsylvania might not even have that law, but in Washington we do.
I'm actually just from a very rural area, so we just don't have crosswalks.
Oh.
Unless I visit an area where there are crosswalks,
Gotcha.
and then it's not very frequent.
Yeah.
I do apologize if I was asking you too many questions about the law. I wasn't trying to
No, not at all. Like I understand you're not from here, so if you don't, a lot of people don't know a bunch of laws. Like I only know it because this is what I do. But yeah, if you're ever curious on any more laws, just RCW, and they can be hard to read because it's in like legal language. But hope that helps.
Definitely.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Definitely you too.
Thanks.
And that is it. That is the first new video that we have seen in the Bryan Kohberger investigation. I'm sure all of the YouTubers will be salivating over this. We'll be playing it over and 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 over again, talking about it. Look how he moved. Look how his eyes went. Look what he's saying. You're going to hear that for the next 4 weeks because this is finally some new footage that we're getting here on Bryan Kohberger. All right, let's pull up the second video. Again, shout out to the docket. If you haven't gone over, go over and check out their YouTube channel for getting this and providing these videos for us to go through. Subscribe over there, check them out. They're doing a lot on the Lori Vallow case right now. So if you want up-to-date Lori Vallow information, go over and check out that channel as well. I haven't seen this video at all, so I'll be curious to see what's in it. And from one of my, I think Laura was telling me that there's not really too much, but we'll play through it anyway. Now this is the search. This is the search of Bryan Kohberger's apartment on 12/30/22. A lot of threes, a lot of twos.
Well, mine aren't. Sorry. Fine.
What I'll try to do is I'm going to run this probably through some filters tomorrow and see if I can brighten this video up a little bit so we can see a little bit more of the detail that's going on. And I'll try to get that up for Saturday so we can play through it. Well, I mean, it's a dark, they're probably in a dark room or going out from the, asking why is it dark? Well, it's probably dark outside. So they're walking into the house. or the apartment, I say. But I'm gonna try to brighten this up over the next couple days and see if I can get it to so we can see a little bit more detail. It looked like they were putting some booties on and getting ready to walk into that apartment. And again, I have not seen this yet, so I'm only speculating, but we'll keep playing through. All right, we got a $4 super chat from, oh God, Papa Roger says they're messing up my place. They're messing up my
Bing,
place.
bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
Great cash, homie.
Liar. Steven.
All right, let's keep playing through. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you, Papa Rogers.
Best to keep going.
And I'll see if I can enhance the audio as well so we can hear a little bit better. So I'll run this through some filters and see what I can do. Clean it up a little bit. So I don't know if you all missed it, but they said cameras on. Cameras on. So let me just recognize this gifted membership. Unfortunately, I can't pull it up, but Jessica Crockett has gifted a membership. So we want to play the new membership tones. It's funny. George just says, "Where the heck is everybody tonight?" Well, George, if it's not Bryan Kohberger in the title, they're not going to watch. And that's the thing is like, we have other material to go through too. Like I was just saying at the beginning of the stream, like, what is everybody do once this case, concludes maybe in like a year or two? What are we all going to do? There's other content out there to be had. I mean, we as live streamers, we put on really, really good shows. Everybody puts on a show in their own sense. So, a lot of people come in the last day or two. They're probably not used to the live shows Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So they'll all catch on. They'll be here. You got to think though. There's basketball playoffs going on right now. I don't know what else is going on. A bunch of other stuff going on. There's probably shows on tonight, Tuesday. But it's all good. We're here. I got a show to do. Show must go on. I appreciate you being here, though. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's keep playing.
You going last? Yeah. If you go.
Police department search warrant. Come to the door.
There ain't no one there.
Police department search warrant. Come to the door.
Come on, man.
How dare you?
Police department search warrant. Come to the door.
Come on, man.
Police department, show yourself.
Come on,
We have
man.
a search warrant for the building.
How dare you?
Police department, show yourself. You're good, dude. Liar. Yep. Steven. Flashlights.
Dun dun dun. Is that it? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I can still see the camera moving. Yeah, the camera's on. There's no sound. Doesn't look like there's any sound. Wah, wah. It's a conspiracy. Oh no, they're doctoring the tapes. I can hear it tomorrow. All the YouTube. Why did it end? Where's the audio? Uh-oh.
I got you, homie.
Uh-oh. The conspiracies are going to start. Holy shnikes. I'm telling you, it's the aliens. Oh, I can only wait tomorrow. Wait till all the videos drop tomorrow. Why did the video stop? Where's the video? Where's the audio? They're hiding everything. Oh, spooky. It's still playing, so. Uh-oh. The conspiracies are going to fly tomorrow. Holy shnikes, Gator says it's probably redacted. Yeah, they knocked. Excuse me. It's a conspiracy. I'm telling you, tomorrow, wait. What are they hiding? Watch all the videos tomorrow morning. What were they hiding on the body cam footage? I think it looks like there's some condensation on the camera. It says the title of the video is Search of Warrant at Bryan Kohberger's apartment on 12/30/22. They're hiding everything. You wait tomorrow. Tomorrow, you wait. All the videos. They were hiding everything. They're planting the evidence. You wait. All the videos will come out tomorrow. Yeah, this looks like this is what it's going to be. Yes, it's aliens. Casey knows it's the aliens. It's the aliens.
Come on, man.
Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
If you haven't already, please smash the like button. I really would appreciate it. So there you go, guys and ladies and germs. That is the new Bryan Kohberger videos. You wait tomorrow. Holy smokes, shnikes. Tomorrow there's going to be a lit. Why was it for 4 minutes? The video went green. We couldn't see anything. They covered it up and they're planting the evidence. Oh, da 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 da.
Bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing. Smash, smash, smash.
Smash that like button. I really would appreciate it. All right, let's get on with the show. Tomorrow, like I said, I have a Kohberger show planned for Saturday. We'll go through all of this stuff. We'll probably talk about these videos. Laura's going to be joining me on the panel on Saturday, and then we're going to take some live calls as well. So I'm going to continue with my portion of the show. So I'm going to bring up, I don't know how this is going to go because I don't know what YouTube's going to do to me. They may shut me down for playing some of the videos today because I'm going to give everybody right now, it's graphic warning content. It does have to do with the Boston bombing, but let's pull that up, and we'll pull up Wikipedia first. So if anybody's not familiar with what happened here in Boston on April 15, 2013, I'm going to read through a little bit of this. So the Boston Marathon bombing was a domestic terror attack that took place during an annual Boston Marathon on April 15, 2013. I remember exactly where I was. I was at work that day. And when this happened, I remember just my iPhone was just lighting up. It was just news reports coming about, I remember it was like an explosion happened at the finish line at the Boston Marathon. And first you're kind of like, what the heck? Like, what happened? And you're thinking maybe a gas line exploded or something. And then it was like second Second explosion happened at the Boston Marathon, and then it was like, okay, something's going on. And I remember where I worked and where I was working, literally you could just see people looking at their phones and fleeing, like leaving the center that I was at, and it just became like a ghost town, and it was just really crazy. Okay, so brothers Zhokar and Tamarin Tsarnaev planted 2 homemade pressure cooker bombs, which detonated near the finish line of the race 14 seconds and 200 yards apart. 3 people were killed and hundreds injured, including 17 who lost limbs. 3 days later, the FBI released images of 2 suspects. They were later identified as the Tsarnaev brothers, who were Chechen Americans. I'm not even going to try to. Chechen Kyrgyzstan Americans. Sorry about that. Following their identification, they killed an MIT policeman, then kidnapped a man in his car. They had a shootout with the police in nearby Watertown, which was like one of the craziest things that I remember, because I had a lot of friends that lived down in that area. And literally when they locked down the city after the shootout and they were looking for the suspects, they literally going house to house to catch these guys. And I remember my friends like literally taking photos and posting SWAT coming through their house and checking their houses, and posting them on Facebook. And it was just like the craziest thing that was going on around here. Like the city was locked down for like 5 days. It was just insane. They had a shootout with police nearby Watertown, which there was like pipe bombs that were thrown. There was machine guns. It was just insane. During which 2 officers were severely injured. One whom Dennis Summons died a year later. Tamarin was shot several times, and his brother Zhokar ran him over while escaping in a stolen car. Tamerlan died soon after. An unpredicted manhunt for Zhokar ensued, with thousands of law enforcement officers searching a 20-area block in Watertown. Residents of Watertown and surrounding communities were asked to stay indoors, and the transportation system in most businesses and public places were closed. I mean, the city of Boston was in a complete lockdown. Like you could not go in and out of Watertown. It was just really crazy. We've never seen anything like that here before. After a Watertown resident discovered Zhokar hiding in a boat in his backyard, the fugitive was shot and wounded by police before being taken into custody. And I remember, like back then, I think like that 50 radio app was just like up and running, probably not too much longer after that. And I remember listening to the live scanner feed of them actually capturing Zhokar, and we were actually like just posting about it on Facebook, like, oh, 50 radio, check it out. It was almost like Twitter, because a lot of us, I don't even know if Twitter was around. Probably, yeah, that Twitter was around, but we weren't really into Twitter. It was just more Facebook back then, and getting live updates through Facebook. So during questioning, Zhokar said that he and his brother were motivated by the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, that they were self-radicalized and unconnected to any outside terrorist groups, and that he was following his brother's lead. He said that he learned to build explosive devices from an online magazine of Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. He also said that he had intended to travel to New York to bomb Times Square. He was convicted of 30 charges, including a use of a weapon of mass destruction and malicious destruction of property, resulting in death. 2 months later, he was sentenced to death, but the sentence was vacated by the United States Court of Appeals for the First Circuit. A writ of, I can't even pronounce that. I'm not going to try. Was granted by the Supreme Court in the United States, which considered the questions of whether the lower court erring in vacating the death sentence. After hearing arguments of the United States versus Tsarnaev, the court upheld the death penalty, reversing the First Circuit Court's decision. So that's a little bit on the Boston Marathon bombings, if you weren't in and around this area. And I have a couple of articles there that I want to pull up. I have video that I want to pull up as well. And we'll kind of go through this presentation that I have planned. I do have a 5-part series from ABC, so I'm going to warn you. I may get shut down. They may not let me stream it. If the stream drops, hang out in the chat. it will come back the minute I stop the content, but we're going to give it a whirl. And if I do get booted, I've already have a part 2 lined up, and I'll just start that live and you guys can go over there. So just bear with me. We're going to see if this is going to work. I don't know if they're going to shut me down. They may. YouTube may shut me down. So, all right, let's bring up the first the first video. All right, let's
from Boston, a city reeling tonight in shock and sadness, really. We are just a few blocks away, just down there from what was the finish line of the Boston Marathon, that magnificent sporting event. And
I do want to warn everybody, this is graphic content in this video. It may have some triggers, PTSD. If this is not for you, I probably would say, you know, take this night off and come back at another stream. But we are going to see some you know, graphic content here. We are reporting news. This did happen, so hopefully YouTube doesn't shut me down this evening. But like I said, if the stream drops, just wait and it will come back up. And if it looks like they're going to shut me down completely, I'll start up a new stream and you guys can come over and hang out if you'd like. All right, let's keep playing.
Most years on this night, these streets, the heart of downtown Boston, would be humming with activity, packed with people celebrating the achievement of the runners, their loved ones coming from all over the world to support them. But tonight, these streets seem frozen in time. At that moment this afternoon, when 2 bombs went off at that finish line, wounding more than 140, killing 3 at least, including an 8-year-old. And tonight, the investigation is in full swing. The FBI is in charge. They are pursuing all leads, all of this grim day, a reminder of our country's constant vulnerability to sudden and murderous attack. The 117th Boston Marathon, one of the world's great sporting events. More than 23,000 started the race, 500,000 spectators.
Yeah, again, I'm going to give a graphic, you know, warning here. We're probably going to see some graphic video. If this is too much, I would say take the stream off. It might cause some PTSD, but we're going to keep trying to go through this and see. And hopefully I don't get shut down. I know they're very sensitive about playing ABC News clips, which is silly. I mean, we've all seen this. You know, this is 10 years ago, this news. We're reporting the news, and I don't know why they love to just shut streams down. So we'll keep trying to play through this.
Along the 26.2-mile course. Boston's is one of the world's 6 major marathons. Runners from more than 90 countries. The winner crosses the finish line at 12:10. Then at 2:50 p.m., more than half the runners were through. The first bomb explodes just a few yards from the finish line. In the chaos, listen for the second explosion, just moments later. Another angle of the second blast. As people look down the street at the first.
Something just blew up. Run! Go!
Okay, I have multiple people down here, okay? I don't know what the cause is. Stand by.
Terror turning the Boston Marathon into a kind of war zone. More than 100 people injured. The youngest victim, an 8-year-old boy killed by one of the blasts.
I mean, this really shook, you know, our city. This really shook our community. I mean, you know, I knew a lot of people that were down there that day. I knew EMTs that were down there. I mean, you don't understand the Boston Marathon. If you don't live in and around this area, is a huge thing. I mean, even if you're not, you know, in tune with it, you know, when it runs, you know, the size of the event, you probably turn on the TV to see who wins. You know, you're in tune with it around here. It is a big event. You know, it's always been a big event. And, you know, usually the Red Sox are playing their home game here too. So, you know, this really shook our community, and it really affected a lot of people. And you saw a lot of somber faces around here for quite some time. We were scared, you know, you know, you had these maniacs running around, and it just seemed like there was something going on every night with them. until the one brother died and then the other one was caught. But this really shook our city. It really did.
Oh God, get out of the stands. Get out of the stands.
All of a sudden, there was a loud noise, an explosion, big puff of smoke, and then a few seconds later, further up the road away from the finish line, a second explosion, large puff of smoke, and then ultimate chaos, everybody running everywhere.
Saw quite a few casualties coming back. I saw one guy with his legs gone at the knees, some ankle.
The guy that they just talked about is Jeff Bowman, and he actually unfortunately became a little bit of a celebrity out of this, and we're gonna talk about him a little later in the stream. And Heather Abbott was another person that came out of this. There was a lot of support. She was from Rhode Island, and I can show you. I used to be really into shooting photography, and right around this time, I had a bunch of photos that I had taken actually of Boston, the John Hancock building in Boston, and I framed those and actually donated those. I did one on eBay as a charity auction. We ended up raising about $100. And as a result of all this, there was the One Fund organization that started to support all the victims and of this tragedy. And I actually ended up donating about $100. And then I put together some stuff for Heather Abbott's auction and actually hand delivered that to the mayor of Newport, Rhode Island, because she was in and around from that area. Hand delivered a photo that they could auction off at one of their auctions to get money for Heather to support her. So yeah, we'll keep playing through this. It looks like I might get by with the ABC coverage, which is great. If that's the case, then I have a 5-part series that's about 40 minutes long, and it will tell you how all of this happened. Yeah, it is amazing. That's good that you said that, Party of Five. People jumped in right into action right away. You have to keep in mind, there's a lot of police officers, firefighters, EMT, first responders that are in that area, in and around this area. And a lot of those people run these marathons. And everybody, when this was instantly right on top of this, pulling barricades down, making sure that people are all right. There was tons of injuries. I mean, the photos from this were graphic. I mean, really, it was a nasty attack. And unfortunately, 4 people lost their lives. And there were many people that were injured. And it's just a disgusting thing. Yeah, absolutely. Boston Strong came out of this. It was quite the saying for that year. It did. It really shook us. It affects us. And it was it was very scary, even after all of this, to resume the Boston Marathon, because we didn't know what was going to happen. You're always waiting now, what's going to happen next. And fortunately, we've gotten through 10 years of nothing happening. And I hope that nothing like this ever happens again, in Boston or even just in anybody else's city. We have a lot of shit that's going on right now. And, we just had the shootings in Atlanta. We just had that crazy thing that's going on out in Oklahoma. Was it 7 people or 7 children that dead? We had the maniac down in Texas. What is going on with people? And I talked about this a few streams back. It's just there's a lot of mental health that is not being taken care of in this country. And I might get a little political right now, but I just don't understand how we continue to filter billions of dollars into a country to fight, to give Ukraine billions of dollars to fight, to buy weapons to fight. But we can't invest any of that money here in our country to help victims with mental health issues, to address that, to get some of these homeless people some help and off drugs, and to give some people some fucking hope. It's every time we turn on the news, it's inflation now is rising. People have to pay more at the pump. Food is going up. People can't pay their rent. They're getting kicked out of their apartments or their houses. They get foreclosed on. What the fuck is going on? We're handwriting checks. The fucking ink is not even dry, and we're just delivering them over to Ukraine to fight against the Soviets. We're funding that war, but we can't help anybody fucking here. We can't write a check here. I'm sorry, I got a problem with that. And maybe I might offend some people tonight. I might offend some people tonight, but listen, I'm a real person, and I take this shit pretty serious. And we got to start fucking waking up here and start really, paying attention to our people here and helping our people here. So, I'm going to spew this out tonight. I'm going to let some of this stuff go. We got a lot of work to do in this country. We are not focused right now, and this shit's got to stop with people killing people and all this, weird shit and these mass shootings. We need to start giving some people some hope here. We need to start helping our people here. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. And the social media doesn't help because it amplifies it. It completely amplifies this. And when you have no hope and you have nowhere to turn, what are you going to do? If you're crying out and no one's listening, what are you going to do? And that's when these people take things into their own hands in the wrong way. And they do these crazy things where they kill people, innocent people. And that affects many, many lives. Just like this Idaho thing, just like this Idaho case. I don't want to call it a thing, but I'm saying this Idaho case, 4 lives are scrubbed out innocently for nothing. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's too much. All right, let's keep playing through this.
Ankles and feet missing, shrapnel wounds on people on the sides of the head, and other things. It's just we're not good.
I had crossed the 26-mile marker, and I saw the first explosion happen, and there was some commotion. I saw fire and smoke, and I didn't know what it was. And then I saw a trash can explode, and people started throwing down the barricade and running over each other, and I ran in the other direction as fast as I could.
Very scary sight. Probably one of the most scary incidences that I've ever been involved with. It's very loud. The ground shook. You could just feel it going down through you.
And tonight, we're hearing the harrowing stories of survival from those who were just feet from the blasts. Local hospitals quickly mobilized for a mass casualty event, but the chaos continued. At Tufts Medical Center, where 11 victims were taken, a bomb scare forced the evacuation of the emergency room. Patients on stretchers were laid out in the atrium. What kind of injuries are you seeing here?
They are almost all lower extremity injuries from the knee down, and they're very severe blast injuries with open fractures, severe muscle injuries, nerve, artery injuries.
I had a bad feeling when I saw the smoke, and when I saw, after hearing the noise and then hearing the second one, it's the Boston Marathon. It's one of the world's marathons. It's at the finish line. I suspected it was terrorism.
Let me just pull this up really quick. So Casey says, what I will say is that the videos you have and these explosions, the things going off, never quite compare to the level of noise and explosion going off of the sounds. So that's very true. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share a little story with you. I lived a couple of states over 2015, and my apartment building literally, if I could show you a picture, literally was in the backyard of 95. There was like no fence, a little bit of grass, and then it was my apartment. There was probably 20 or 30 feet of grass, and it would literally go to the highway. And we had a small chain link fence there. That's all that separated us from the highway. The portion of highway that I lived on connected from Boston to New York. So I lived in between there, which is Connecticut. And there was a ton of traffic that used to just constantly go by there. I'm not lying. Halloween night, I had my mom down at my apartment in Connecticut. She came down to visit for the weekend. And we were sitting there. And all of a sudden, because you can hear, you can literally hear the cars and trucks going by. I mean, it was that loud. And then just eventually after a while, you get used to it. So truck I'm up on the top floor. My mom's down in the living room watching TV. I'm up in my bedroom getting something. And I have a window that oversees the highway. And all of a sudden you hear just like Jake brakes, like tires screeching, all that, big semi truck. And I look out the window and there's a glow. Okay. And all of a sudden you see fire. And then I look to the back of the trailer, and the trailer's either a diesel or a gas container. I scream downstairs to my mother and I go, there is a truck, a semi truck that is on fire we need to get as far away as we can from the house now. So she runs outside. I run outside. I said, let's just get in the car and drive. Well, here's me and my curious ass. I grab my iPhone, and I'm one of those idiots. And my mom's starting to head for the car. I come around to the side of the house, and one of the diesel tanks on the lower cab of the truck exploded. And I was probably, I don't know, 200 feet away. The concussiveness of that blast literally hit me in the chest, and I just felt that. And I literally could feel that feeling for like 3 hours afterwards. It was like a blast that just went through me. Holy shit. I have the video of it somewhere. If I can find it someday, I'll bring it up. I'll have to really scrub through, but I do have it. If it's not on this computer, it might be on my other one. But the concussiveness that I felt it right in my chest. I felt it in my whole body, and I was like, okay, now we need to get the fuck out of here. We got out of there quick, and fortunately enough, the fire department was quick enough to get there on the highway, extinguish the truck, and it was scary. I mean, if that thing would have went off and blew up, forget it. Would have been like a bomb, but it was crazy. Let's keep playing through this.
Rebecca Roach had just finished the race when the bombs went off.
It was a moment of what should have been joy, and
it was crazy, Brenda. Super crazy.
Turned into panic and just heart-wrenching fear of the worst.
She was okay, but her mom
100%.
and a friend who were there to support her were badly injured.
Makes me feel quite guilty.
Guilty?
Yeah. They wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for me.
Rebecca ran every step of the 26.2 miles with her mom and dad in her heart and written on her legs. Is there any way to appreciate what you did accomplish today?
Yeah.
It's good.
It was a dream of mine.
And listen, I know I have some Bostonians watching tonight. I know this affected all of you as well, too. I know it did. It affected everybody here.
Years. And I finally accomplished it in the time that I wanted to.
The bombs went off just 50 to 100 yards apart. With a number of cameras capturing the blasts, investigators have plenty of evidence to study frame by frame as they hunt for who is responsible. The bombs went off about 4 hours after the start of the race. The average marathon time for male runners is around 4.5 hours. It was ideal marathon weather, and it was Patriots Day in Boston. But by evening, police had replaced the finish line with yellow police tape. On the map of Boylston Street, you can see just how close, less than a block away from where the runners finished the course in triumph, and so many of their loved ones waited.
People should be calm.
Even 2 hours later, investigators seem to be trying to make sense of it all.
We're recommending to people that they stay home, that if they're in hotels in the area, that they return to their rooms.
Content
we want to make sure we
here.
completely
Sorry
stabilize the situation.
At the White House, President Obama was notified within minutes, and while he was not ready to use the word terrorist, he made this vow.
We will find out who did this. We'll find out why they did this. Any responsible individuals, any responsible groups will feel the full weight of justice.
on, man.
Make no mistake, we will get to the bottom of this.
But tonight, New York
Call it
Congressman
what
Peter
it
King
is.
is
It's a
more
terrorist
willing
attack.
to
You
point
know it.
fingers.
Well, obviously, there's nothing definite yet, but it has all the hallmarks, earmarks of a Al-Qaeda type attack. It reminds me very much of what happened in Times Square with Shahzad in 2010. Again, it could end up being someone else, but right now it has all the indicators in every aspect of being a Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda affiliated attack.
For Rebecca Roach and all the
President
runners who
wasn't gonna
ran
call
with
that.
full hearts
He's a
and their loved ones
sympathizer.
who cheered them on, it's all so incomprehensible, so wrong.
I just think it's horrendous. Why? I don't understand. I can't find reason in it.
And so it was a day of heartbreak here in Boston and of heroism. Bruce Mendelson, who is an Army veteran, was right here on the scene and responded. Bruce, tell me where you were. You were right at the finish line.
Yeah, I was at a post-race party at 667 Boylston Street on the 3rd floor of a building. The first explosion, I was sitting on a couch, the first explosion knocked me off the couch onto the ground. I was with my brother who had just finished the marathon, and I yelled at him to get all the people back away from the windows. And
then
so
you went down.
So he got all the people back away from the windows towards the back of the building. I ran downstairs to the first floor. I came out onto a sheet of glass shards. There were blood smears on the sidewalk. There were people injured with a lot of grievous lower body injuries. And then,
what did you do?
Well, I tried to render what medical assistance I could. I tried to help the Boston PD, which was on the scene, in force immediately. I tried to help them establish a security cordon so there wouldn't be any tertiary or other explosions detonated. Yeah.
It sounds like your instincts took over there, your training.
Well, I guess I could thank the United States Army for that, but I think I did what anybody else would do. Wrong place, right time.
How did it affect you, seeing that as you came out of that?
This is terrible. I mean, this is terrible. I'm upset. I mean, normally on a marathon night, this place should be full with people. Bars are open, people happy and festive, and this beautiful day blew up in a second, in a heartbeat. And to see what we've seen today, it just makes me so angry. I'm angry.
Yep.
And you were responding to people injured by the blasts. What kind of injuries did you see?
I saw a lot of lower body injuries.
That's what we're hearing.
Yeah, it leads me to believe that the devices were at or near ground level. I was trying to help for about 15 minutes. Then the law enforcement officers invited me to leave, as I should have. I mean, this is not my bailiwick. It's not my area of expertise. I left, picked up my brother, and we walked back across the Mass Ave Bridge with thousands of other people. It looked very much like 9/11.
And people are calling you a hero too.
Well, they should. I mean, I did what anybody else should do in these circumstances. We're a resilient people, and this is what we should do to respond.
Bruce Mendelson, thanks very much for joining
you.
us.
All right. Whew, what a day. Okay, what do I say here? So as the let me just check something here real quick. Just want to see how long these are. So we got 8, 6, 7. Okay. Play that out here. Okay. So as I have so much to go through that it's the Kohberger stuff really took up a lot of time. I'm just trying to decide where I want to go next in this. Yeah, so as the bombings happened, there were a lot of conspiracies that started to come out. I'm not going to read through the whole article, but I want you all to just kind of know what was being put out there. I'll drop the link if you're curious about reading that. But I'm just going to read just the headline here. So why Boston Marathon bombings ignited conspiracies like September 11 terrorist attacks and Sandy Hook massacre. Other tragedies, the recent Boston Marathon bombing had spawned several conspiracy theories. Some were more cynical conspiracy theorists do it simple for attention and ratings or to promote their books, DVDs, and seminars, promising to reveal the truth that no one else would dare. So this is a lot of things I think that has very relevant in Idaho as well too, and Bryan Kohberger, all of these conspiracy theories that get dropped. I hear, and I've always said this all along, I stick to the facts in the cases. We look at the evidence, we go over the evidence, and then we may base our opinions off of that. I'm not going to read too much of this article. I'm just going to touch a little bit on what was going on in and around this this tragedy and just some of the things that came out of it. But again, I did drop the link up there in the chat for you guys. If you want to go over it, you can. All right, so let's move on here because I have a lot of material to go through. The next I have is there's an article that was just written on May 4th that said that AI might have prevented Boston Marathon bombing, but with risks. Former police commissioner. We'll read a little bit of this, though, because this is very interesting. Ed Davis, Boston police commissioner during 2013 bombing, says AI also available to criminals and terrorists. Rapidly developing artificial intelligence technology may have prevented the Boston Marathon bombing, but it might have also become law enforcement's newest nightmare. That was the message from Ed Davis, who was Boston police commissioner during the deadly terrorist attacks on April 15, 2023. And I have to commend Ed Davis. He did an amazing job through that whole ordeal. It was very organized, and they ended up tracking these guys down in about I think it was 5 or 6 days. A decade after that plot that killed 3 people and injured hundreds, he told Fox Digital News that AI will ultimately improve investigations and allow many dangerous criminals to be brought to justice. Use of artificial intelligence systems applied to secret and top secret databases could have very well prevented the Boston Marathon, he said. However, it may be years before this, but right now the government needs to be aware of the downsides that may mitigate the risks of AI. So it's a very interesting article. Again, I'm not going to go through too much of this. Let's see what his quote says. He said, today's cameras and coordinating systems have the potential to provide analytics in real time, identifying possibly dangerous items, as well as react to pivot based on crowd dynamics, such as abnormal movement patterns or gatherings. The seeds to create proactive law enforcement systems already exists. Davis mentioned a couple of companies using AI software to essentially analyze a trove of video data that anticipate that will likely happen in a crowd. For example, the video analytics company Genetec uses high-tech cameras and AI software that can learn normal activity to notify operations of approaching threats and of anomalies. That's very interesting. This is an interesting article. I'm not going to touch too much on it because I have a lot more to go through, but I'll drop the link there if you're all interested in reading through that. Okay, so as this tragedy happened, Rolling Stone took a lot of shit, deservedly so. I no longer read Rolling Stone. I will not buy a Rolling Stone magazine. There was tons of protest in and around the Boston area because of the article that they put out and the cover that they put out. Basically, the article was fucking supporting these idiots. And I'll pull this up. And this was the cover that they put out. And it's pretty disgusting because the first thing that you look at, what are they trying to do? They're trying to make this kid look like a sex symbol. They're trying to make him look innocent. And when I first saw this, I looked at it and went, holy shit, that is the Rolling Stone cover of Jim Morrison. It's the same fucking cover that they tried to do. They tried to make this kid look like Jim fucking Morrison, like he was some fucking hero. And the article was pretty disgusting in it. And I remember when this came out, everybody in Massachusetts, everybody in Boston would not carry Rolling Stone. They protested against it. They took it off their shelves and they sent it back. And they said they will no longer ever, never, ever support Rolling Stone. Since 2013, I used to be an avid Rolling Stone reader. I used to be a supporter. I used to read their magazine. After 2013, I stopped supporting them. I will never support them ever again. This was bullshit. And let's see. Let's hear this.
Criticism and calls for a boycott after it put a photo of the Boston Marathon bombing suspect on its cover. It's a close-up image of Jahar Tsarnaev, one he had posted.
Can you hear the audio? If you guys can hear an audio, just give me a 1 in the chat. I'm not sure if you can hear the audio. I want to make sure you hit it. Give me a 1 if you can hear the audio.
Online himself, his tousled dark hair falls.
Just let me know if you can hear the audio. Okay, perfect. All right, I'll keep playing through this. A 4-minute listen. We're going to listen to this real quick. Thank you.
Across his face. He's got a scruffy mustache and goatee. He's wearing a t-shirt with graffiti-like writing splashed across it. On casual glance.
Now, this is the excerpt from fucking Rolling Stone. This is what they're writing about this fucking maniac.
You might think, is that early Dylan, some new indie rock guy that's got Rolling Stone's attention? Well, reaction has been furious on the magazine's Facebook page. You glorified a monster, one wrote. Another, never buying another issue. Shame on you.
Done.
And another, your reputation is in ashes. Joining me to talk about the cover and defend Rolling Stone's reputation is managing editor Will Dana. Will, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you very much.
Why this picture of Jahar Tsarnaev?
Well, I mean, this is a picture that's been seen a lot in the past couple of months. It was on the front page of the New York Times. It's been on any number of news broadcasts.
And don't listen to this fucking idiot. They did this to get people to buy the magazine, to start controversy, and also to support this piece of shit. Because I remember this article, the way that article was written was like, oh, he's just a pot smoking kid. It's not his fault. Da 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 da. Fuck them. Fuck them for putting this piece of fucking garbage out.
Cast, flashed up behind the anchor. So this is the picture that everyone knows, that everyone's seen, and we wanted to tell the real story behind who this person was and how he came to perpetrate this sickening act of violence.
You did have a choice, though. You could have gone, say, with an image from surveillance camera footage, but instead you used this. It looks like it's a selfie. It's flattering. He looks kind of dreamy.
Well, we thought it was the apt image because part of what the story is about is what an incredibly normal kid he seemed like to those who knew him best back in Cambridge, his fellow students and the teachers there. And we were trying to sort of draw this contrast between the person everyone thought they knew and the person he became.
You mentioned that this same image had been on the front page of the New York Times. That was back in May. But is it a different thing for a magazine like yours to splash it on the cover? Because your covers are typically movie stars, music stars. I mean, are you implicitly drawing an equivalence of stardom here, glorifying a criminal suspect?
I disagree with that. I mean, I think that we are, the magazine is many things. A lot of what we do in the magazine is a very serious reporting on really important issues, whether, it's environmentalism, politics, war and national security issues. I mean, these are the things that we've been writing about for years. And, we did not do this lightly, but we also felt this was an important story and an important way of addressing, what is one of the biggest issues facing not only America, but the world.
No question that Rolling Stone covers those issues that you mentioned, but it doesn't mean they end up on the cover. I mean, think about the profile you guys did of General Stanley McChrystal. It cost him his job as the commander in Afghanistan. He wasn't on the cover. Lady Gaga was on the cover.
Right. Well, I mean, we can go and have every single one of these discussions, but I also think this is a person who is the same age as many of our readers, who to his peer group seemed like one of them. And that's what we thought made this story so powerful and disturbing. And, it's in no way to endorse or glorify what he did. I think the opposite is we're trying to understand it and to explain it.
Was any part of the conversation among editors there, this is a provocative image and it will be controversial and it will sell. Controversy breeds sales.
Yeah, I would say that in terms of that sales, it is absolutely impossible to predict what newsstand sales are going to be.
Did you hear him fucking laugh?
It's something you have to be mindful of, but at the same time, put out of your mind.
It's hard to predict. He's a clown. He's a piece of shit. Everybody over at Rolling Stone's a piece of shit. I will never I haven't bought a fucking magazine in 10 years from now.
Out of your mind on a case-by-case basis. And you got to just, we really go with our gut on these things usually.
And would you do it again? Would you put this photograph of the bombing suspect?
Oh, of course.
Well, I mean, it's impossible to
of course,
to answer that question. But yeah, I mean, I am completely comfortable with the decision that we made.
Fuck him.
And this is in no way to minimize our feelings of sadness or sympathy for the victims.
Yep, that's right.
Will
Pop
Dana,
Roger,
thanks for
you're
talking with
100%
us.
right. Yeah.
Will Dana is managing editor of Rolling Stone magazine. And one more note, some major retail chains.
Guy's a piece of shit. I'll drop that link to the article if you all want to go watch that. Okay, so where are we? We are okay, so I want to just highlight this young man, Jeff Bowman, became a little bit famous. He was the gentleman that there was a photo of a man in a cowboy hat pushing this gentleman in a wheelchair and literally holding his femoral artery so this young man would not die. He had lost his legs during the blast and became a little bit of I don't want to say like a celebrity out of this, but became very well known. And we're going to play this here, and then I'm going to play a little video of Jeff on the Conan O'Brien show, and just to play a little bit of tribute to him, because I'm sure that, he went through a lot that day and still probably going through a lot in his life. So we'll play through this.
Bowman awoke last week to find his legs amputated after he had been caught in the blasts. As soon as he could, he grabbed a pen and wrote, "Bag. Saw the guy. Looked right at me." Bowman realized he had come face to face with one of the suspects, and he helped kick into high gear the search for Tamerlan Tsarnaev. Now he's speaking out about his ordeal. This haunting image of Jeff.
Yeah, this is the photo that was captured that day.
Bowman has become one of the iconic images of the April 15th terrorist attacks.
Are you thinking at that point you're going to make it?
Not really. Actually, when Carlos picked me up and threw me into the wheelchair, then I was like, all right, maybe I am going to make it. But before that, no way. I thought I was done.
The 27-year-old Bowman recently shared what was going through his mind at that moment with local radio station WEEI.
Did you see what had happened to you? Were you aware of what had happened?
Yeah. I kind of just, I don't know. I just toughed it up at that point, you know? Yeah. I mean, I was definitely hurting, but I was sad.
Right.
I was, that someone would actually do that, you know?
Bowman's legs were shredded, but his memory remained pristine, and he was one of the first ones to describe Tamerlan Tsarnaev to law enforcement.
Well, I was with my girlfriend's roommates, and we were having a great time, you know? We were watching the runners. Everyone was having a great time. And just that one guy, you know, he didn't look like he was having a good time. So he was right next to me, you know, at that point. And he had a bag and he had his glasses. He had a leather, like sweatshirt type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was warm out. He was just an odd guy. He just struck me odd. And that's what I remember of him. And then next thing you know, I hear fireworks and I'm on the ground, you know. I was still conscious when I was being transported from the blast site to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time when I was in the hospital, I was given descriptions of the guy, the first guy, the guy with the hat and the glasses, the aviators and the 5 o'clock shadow.
Right.
So what did he think when he heard that Tamerlan Tsarnaev had been killed?
What about when you found out that the guy you saw was run over, literally, by his brother?
Yeah. I mean, well, what I thought was he's dead and I'm still here, you know?
Still here and already thinking of others. Here he is giving an 18th birthday present to Sidney Corcoran, also wounded in the hospital.
You don't sound angry. You don't sound pissed off. Can I ask you what your feelings are about the men who did this to you and so many other people?
Yeah, I'm pissed.
Yeah,
obviously, but I mean, it's in the past, you know. You can only look forward. I had a lot to live for before, and I got a lot to live for now.
Okay, let's play this interview on Conan O'Brien. Here's Jeff Bowman right here. Let's.
One of the most critical points of your life, and this is in your book, and it's also depicted in the film, was when you first woke up in the hospital after the bombing, and you knew what had happened to you, and you knew that you had lost your legs. The first thing you did was make a joke.
Yeah.
What was that? What was the situation?
Well, first I wrote, "Is Aaron okay?" I went to watch my girlfriend, who is now my baby mama.
Yeah.
Nice. And after I found out she was okay, I saw the look on my friend's face, and he was looking sad. So I was like, all right, I got to mess with him. So I wrote Lieutenant Dan down on the piece of paper because he was trying to explain to me that I didn't have my legs. So I was like, I know.
Yeah. You were trying to sort of put him at ease.
Yeah.
You know, there's no sugarcoating in your book or in the film, and I think that's really admirable. This is an incredible shock to go through this experience, and you had a hard time adjusting, and you say that you were drinking too much afterwards.
Yeah, I was drinking a ton. I mean, you know how Boston is. You go out, and next thing you know, I have 5 shots in front of me and 3 beers.
People, of course,
can't
knew
let
what
them
you
go
had
to
been
waste.
through, and everyone was like, hey, man, do a shot with me, you know, and it got out of hand.
Yeah, it got really way out of hand. But, you know,
and
I
then
could
you saw this depicted. I'm told that when you saw that depicted in the film, it really had a strong effect on you.
Yeah, it did. I haven't drank in 15 months. So when I saw the film, I was really kind of proud of myself that I've come a long way since 15 months. And, I went back to school full time, and, I'm just spending, all my free time with my daughter now. So
How old is your daughter? How old is your daughter now? How old is your daughter?
She's 3 years old.
Great, 3 years old. You've actually been quoted as saying you feel that you're better off today than you were before the bombing. Do you feel that that's true?
Yeah, some days it does feel like that. I mean, I'm sitting next to Conan right now and Andy.
Yeah.
That's very sweet, but that's very sweet. But set that bar a little higher. But I think in terms of probably just your perspective on life, maybe your outlook.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my life is a lot richer in that sense. I've met some great people that have influenced me to be the best person I can be, and also it's I challenge myself, and now Jake challenges me, and he's a crazy person.
Yes, yeah. But he's a wonderful guy too.
He's amazing. He's a great friend, and he's challenging me every day. Now he wants me to run, and he's like, "You got to run," and I'm like, "Oh man, all right."
You don't have to listen to him. I do want to explain to people something that I hadn't even realized before you came here today, which is you lost your legs above the knee, and that when people lose their legs below the knee, it's much easier for them to get prosthetics and to adapt. And it is many times harder if it's above the knee because you have to learn so many things over again. Is that right?
Yeah, it's you're kind of depending on this knee mechanism, which is beautiful. It's these are Autobach, a German company makes them, called Autobach, and there's microprocessors, Bluetooth, and actually to drive, I just go on the Bluetooth and I can lock my leg at an angle and I can drive any car.
That's amazing.
It's
And
really
this has gotten you, which I think is fascinating, into wanting to work on prosthetics and help engineer them. And you've decided, you went back to school and you've been working on that. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so would you like to actually be someone who designs these? Would you like to be doing that for a living?
I would love that. And I would be like a great guinea pig too, because I can just try anything that I design.
Right. So you can come in the next day and go like, these legs suck.
Yeah. Like bruises all over me.
I got them up to 85 miles an hour and they quit on me. Yeah. Is it true that you were messing around because you're a pretty ingenious guy. You were messing around and you figured out a way to put a solar charger on your prosthetic leg. Is that right?
Yeah, it was just simple, very simple. I just
sure, yeah, not to me.
Well, I just got this inverter and I hooked up this mobile solar panel, and I got some good sunlight, and they were charging my legs.
Right.
I was like, whoa.
That's amazing. So you got to move out of Massachusetts then. That's the only problem.
I could have moved south.
Yeah, there's no solar power there.
All right, that's great. I'm glad that Jeff's life has been moving on. It sounds like he's married and his child, and we all wish Jeff the best of luck. And he's been through a lot, but looks like he's moving on with his life and finding many positive things to do. Okay, so let's do this. I have a 5-part series from ABC News. It looks like I might get away with playing ABC News clips tonight, which is great. We're going to play through this series and it'll give you the whole complete timeline of what happened. All right, sit back, grab your popcorn and your drinks if you have them. Let's chill a little bit, relax a little bit. We'll take you out about another hour or so, and we'll end this stream. Thank you, everybody, this evening for coming in and really watching this content, because this content is really near and dear to my heart, because I am from Massachusetts. Boston is my hometown. I was born and raised here. I've moved out quite a few times, but always come back, and Boston is home. It's a very personal stream to myself because it affected everybody here, and we don't forget. We don't forget. So let's watch through this. Here we go.
It was the beginning.
And there's a graphic content here, so if it's too much, I would just say lay off this stream, come back on another one.
Of 5 days of terror.
I have a victim here with shrapnel in the leg.
Over the next 102 hours, Police and federal agents
Shots fired again. Shots fired again.
would overcome chaos, emotion, exhaustion, and miscues to track down those responsible as a grateful city and nation applaud.
Again, if the stream stops and it looks like it says I'm out, don't leave. Just wait for a couple of minutes. It'll come back up, and then I'll finish up the stream.
I'm a marathoner, so I had planned to run that day.
You're gonna hear a lot of Boston accents in this video.
I ran the race. It was a beautiful day for running.
Have a great race, everybody.
We did a lot of planning for that race. We had a lot of security.
It was the 117th Boston Marathon, run every year on what's called Patriots Day. Schools are out, offices closed, the bars are open. It's the best day of the year in Boston. A day-long party, as this fateful surveillance video shows, taken from one of the restaurants along the race route, the Forum.
Thank you.
There were no known threats of an attack that day, and nothing seemed suspicious about the two men wearing backpacks who made their way through the crowds. All eyes were on the runners.
I remember coming down Boylston Street. My wife and young son were in the stands cheering me on, and it was just a great race.
After he finished, Boston Police Superintendent Billy Evans headed to the Boston Athletic Club.
Hopped into a hot tub, which it always feels good after the race. And Police Officer Cecil Jones came in and said to me, "Superintendent, I think 2 bombs just went off in Copley Square."
Parked the car in the Harvard garage.
The first bomb was near the finish line.
Are you okay?
And right away, saying to Cecil, "That can't happen here." And I thought, it can't be bombs. It's got to be transformers. Stuff like that doesn't happen here in Boston.
Many in the crowd at the Forum restaurant had the same initial reaction, including Bill Richard, there with his wife and 3 children.
What the hell is that?
Heads turned at the sound of the first blast, about 200 yards away.
Oh my God! Something blew up! Something blew up! Oh my God, something happened!
Over the next 12 seconds, some will decide to leave the Forum area, but most will stay, including the Richard family, unaware the second bomb is planted in a backpack at their feet.
What should have been joy turned into panic and heart-wrenching fear of the worst.
Among the 3 killed, 8-year-old Martin Richard.
Saw quite a few casualties coming back. I saw one guy with his legs gone at the knees, some ankles and feet missing.
I saw the flash, the fire, the smoke, and I just ran as fast as I could.
I seen the fear in people's face. I seen people crying. I seen people leaving that scene very much terrorized. I could see it
That's
in their
Jeff
face.
Bowman right there. That gentleman has his femoral artery in his
true here in the city of Boston.
hand. And if you don't know about the femoral artery, you literally could bleed out, I think, in like 30 seconds if that's opened up. That man saved his life.
Oh my God, we got to get who's responsible for this.
I want all the SWAT team to go back to the base right now and get their rifles, get their gear.
What was the early estimation of who was responsible?
Initially, one individual was seen fleeing from the scene, whose clothes looked charred, and at first we seemed to focus on him.
But he was an innocent bystander.
We didn't know what we faced. We didn't know how many bombers we had out there, so we didn't know what we had. We feared there could be 2, 3, 4, 5 more devices out there.
Just 23 minutes after the bombs went off, the 2 bombers, brothers Tamerlan and Johar Tsarnaev, pulled into the parking lot at the Whole Food store in Cambridge to carry out an errand. The younger brother, 19-year-old
Went and bought
Johar,
milk.
strolls into the store
Scumbag.
and heads to the dairy section. He can't decide whether he's supposed to get whole milk, 2%, or skim.
Scumbag.
There's not an ounce, not an iota a sense of concern or fidgeting on his behalf. I mean, you would think somebody that's involved in something so crazy, so depraved, there'd be this overwhelming amount of adrenaline, and he is calm and cool and collected. He calmly interacts with the store staff.
Outside, the older brother, Tamerlan, is on the phone with a friend, who later told the FBI he asked Tsarnaev about the breaking news of the bombing. Could it have been an accident? Maybe, maybe not, Tamerlan responds. Johar leaves the store, but with the wrong milk. He's sent back inside to exchange it for the right kind. And then they head home with the milk and their dark secret.
Guys, no way, no way.
In contrast to the calm of the brothers at the Whole Food store, there was chaos and confusion at the crime scene.
We're looking for every bit of evidence we could. It was a puzzle at that point, and we had to slowly, piece by piece, put it together.
The most important piece of the puzzle came from what's called the CART Lab at the FBI Boston headquarters, where more than 10,000 videos and photos were analyzed.
Now, keep a lot of this in mind because, you know, you're going to see a lot of this in the Kohberger trial, if and when this goes to trial. You know, all that video surveillance footage, everything that they've captured, it's going to be all gone through like this as well, too.
Told that the forum had video, a camera, which actually filmed from the front door out towards the street, and we needed to get that digital video recorder. So this is the video here that was recovered off of the digital video recorder from the forum.
And this was the starting point then for your video investigation?
This was the starting point, yes.
And when you looked at it, you were looking for what?
At that point, we didn't know. We knew that the explosion happened in the vicinity or somewhere in the camera shot, but we didn't know who we were looking for at that point.
Somewhere in these frames was the bomber, but the agents could not spot him. He was hiding in plain sight, one of the 147 individuals seen in the frames.
The thing that's crazy about it, and you're going to probably point it out, he literally just gets out of the area before that bomb goes off.
So when you first looked at it,
yes,
you couldn't see anything that stuck out.
We couldn't see anything that stuck out.
Back and forth, play, rewind, slow down, zoom in, play, rewind again.
There's so much going on.
There was a lot going on.
That must have been frustrating.
It was very frustrating because we watched it over and over and over again.
This was the bomber they were looking for, the younger Tsarnaev brother. But on that first day and into the night, the FBI agents scrutinizing this video could not spot him.
There was nothing distinct that stood out. As you can see the video here yourself, that there wasn't anything that jumped out at us off the screen that said, this is the subject, this is the person that put the bomb there.
You had this video,
yes,
but you didn't have a suspect.
We did not have a suspect.
That night, the two bombers went out for dinner with a friend at this restaurant. Johar will later send this Twitter message: "Ain't no love in the heart of the city. Stay safe, people." Tamerlan tells the friend, "So what if a kid dies? God will take care of him."
We still do not know who did this or why. And people shouldn't jump to conclusions before we have all the facts. But
you did that a
make no
lot in your
mistake,
presidency.
We will get to the bottom of this.
Did that slip out?
And we will find out who did this. We'll find out why they did this.
Sure.
It was an emotional week for me. 5 days of sort of hell.
Every second that's going by, we're asking, who did this? Every minute that was going by, we're asking ourselves, well, where are they now? And then every hour that's going by, we're asking, well, what are they going to do next?
All right, let's take you to part 2. Let's go to part 2. Day 2 here. Let's play through this.
The first explosion happened. About 10 or 15 seconds later, there was a second explosion.
Another ambulance down here at 755 Boylston.
I can't begin to know.
So nice
Here you go,
moment here
Yankee
at the
fans.
stadium as we stand united with the people of Boston.
Oh, I'm going to probably get nailed. I'm going to turn that music off for a second.
As New Yorkers showed their support by singing the theme song of their hated rivals, the Boston Red Sox.
I'm just going to turn that off so I don't get whacked for music.
But no one was feeling very good as the day started at Boston FBI headquarters in the CART Lab, where agents had spent the night searching the chilling video for images of the terrorist.
He was hidden in plain sight. We couldn't see anything that stuck out.
You're tearing your hair out?
Yes. That was one
Jeff,
way to
what's up,
describe
buddy?
it. Yes, but just frustration.
I talked to one
Good
of
to
the
see you,
agents
man.
who
Good to see you, man.
reviewed the tape, and he said, "You have no idea how many times I had to view the tape to get past the horror to see who it would be." That
Jeff,
took a
I
long
hit
time
4,000
because we were just
subs,
gripped by
dude.
that.
This is the man they were looking for.
I told you I was going to hit 4,000 subs. It's happening fast, bro. Jeff's a buddy of mine. 4,000, buddy. I'm at 4,000 subs, bro.
But could not spot.
It was very frustrating because we watched it over and over and over again.
Any information that you have, any videos or photographs could be helpful to this investigation.
The clues they're looking for now is, did somebody see a person put a bomb in a trash can, a mailbox, leave us a sack on the sidewalk? Somebody saw something, and that's what they're looking for right now. That's the most important clue.
5,000 soon, man.
Tuesday, we get a call from the public, from a person who said, I was across the street taking
Told you
pictures
I'd do it, bro.
of my friend running, and
We're
the
gonna
pictures
get
were
there,
taken just
5,000.
immediately before the explosion, and we think that you might be interested in my photos. And we said, absolutely. That still photo combined with the video put the pieces of the puzzle together.
FBI bomb technicians had determined where the bomb had detonated.
I can't do it without all of you. You guys have been amazing. You know, the people that are really, really amazing, I have to say, are the people that are here in these smaller streams. Yeah, it's not Kohberger stuff. I think people just get turned off by the title that it's not Kohberger, but it's like, look, you're missing. These are great shows. We do good material in between Kohberger. This is not an all Kohberger channel. And I think people are really missing out. But you all here that watch these smaller shows, you are the most important to me because you come here night after night after night, even if there's not Kohberger stuff or Idaho stuff, you all are here hanging out. And I appreciate that because it makes these streams fun and it makes them a little bit more intimate too, because I have a smaller crowd. Listen, you know, like the Saturday show, last show, we got 350 people watching. But it's Idaho stuff. We can't do Idaho all the time, guys. We can't do it. There's, you know, we have other content we do. I'm the same person performing for all of yous. So, you know, come hang out on these streams. Trust me, you're going to have just as much fun hanging out in the chat, getting through all this other material. And it's stuff that we need to, you know, look at, because when Idaho is gone, where are we going to go from there? You know, where are we going to go from there? And we do other content. So support your smaller channels. Go over even on those nights that they're not doing Idaho content. You know, all this really matters to us. But you guys hanging out with us and chilling on these smaller streams, this is fun. I'm having, you know, it's not a fun topic, but I'm having fun seeing you all here. You know, I'm having fun seeing you all here, just relaxing and you know, going through this with me.
In that precise spot, they could now see a black backpack.
Right.
Thank you,
That's
Erica.
the first time
you saw that.
That's the first time we saw that bomb. We said that's going to be the bomb. And then we start to look around that location around the bag of who could have been responsible.
Absolutely.
Who that bag belonged to.
And the thing is that when you watch stuff like this, as a sleuther or you know, a person that's I don't want to say like enthusiast, but a person that studies true crime, when you watch shows like this, it allows you to refine your techniques and look at things on a different angle and get expert advice on how they do that, expert processes. So it's, you know, I find these streams to be very informative. I've learned a lot by going back and watching a lot of this material.
Is it the man in the white hat?
That might be our guy. And we went back to the video.
100% agree,
synced them
BBN.
both up together.
100% agree.
That was the aha moment. And we grabbed the executive management from the command post and brought him in and said, this is who we're looking for.
Now it seems so obvious.
You see him walking in about 4.5 minutes beforehand. You see him with a backpack. You see him on a phone. You see him get to that point and just gently lead to the side and put the backpack on the ground. And then you fast forward to the moments just before the first blast. And you see everybody react.
All right, real quick. Christina's gifted a membership. Erica Ramsey is now a member of the channel. Erica, welcome to the channel membership. I appreciate you. Let's give Erica the new member tone. If you are a channel member, I'm going to post on the community tab after the stream ends and you want to join the Discord chat group, you can. It's for members only, and I will post the link on my community tab after the stream. All you need to do is go over, click into the link that'll allow you to get into the club, the Opinionated Club. And then what I need you to do is if you come into the chat, just change your name on Discord to reflect your YouTube chat name. Because what I do is I go in and audit the names, and if your membership runs out and you don't up, I'm going to ask you either up it. If you don't, then we just have you move aside until you want to come back into the group. You can do that because the Discord group is for paid members only. If you want to become a paid member, you can hit the join button down below. My membership's only started at $1.99. That'll get you into the chat group. It's open for all contributors. All right, let's keep playing through here.
Well, his reaction was slightly different. It wasn't as panicked. You could tell that he knew that that was about to happen. And then you start to count 1,000, 2,000, and he starts to walk out back from the direction he came. 3 1,000.
Quickies moving out of the area.
And you get to 12.
He literally just
as he
moved.
exits
That's
the
it.
frame. That second blast happens.
He would have been right there.
But there were 2 bombs and 2 bombers. And at this point, the FBI only had 1 bomber identified, the one with the white baseball cap on backwards.
Could he have set off both, you think?
At that point, we didn't know.
So now the FBI team set out to backtrack the bomber in the white hat. Agents later created a mock-up model of the crime scene.
This is an actual 3D model of the Boylston Street scene.
Crazy.
Marking in yellow, all the surveillance cameras they knew were set up along Boylston Street.
You know how smart this
These
is?
yellow dots are all cameras.
CCTV cameras. So then we started looking backwards, and we play the tape backwards to make sure we see where he comes from.
Going backwards, picked up first by the cameras at Walgreens.
And we can see him coming from here.
Then by the ATM camera at Bank of America, in front of the Back Bay Social Club.
The next key piece of CCTV footage we get is here at Whiskey's restaurant,
where Whitehead is seen with another man wearing a black hat.
No problem.
And it's actually at Whiskey's.
Party, we have a very clean adult chat. There's no bullshit in our group. I keep the bullshit out, and the minute people start acting up, they're bounced. And I'll tell you this, we've had the Discord group open, 3 weeks now, and there hasn't been one single incident in there. We don't have clowns inside our group, all that. It gets taken care of very quickly, and it will be taken care of very quickly if people act up. I will bounce you out
together.
And so when you saw them
you
here,
break
then
my
you knew
trust,
that was the
you're
second
out.
person.
Absolutely. That's where we have now black hat and white hat. That's essentially our second aha moment.
I'll be right back, guys. Pee break.
Yet it turns out this key video came within minutes of being erased. The system at Whiskey's records over the previous day's images every 24 hours.
On the day of the bombing,
Mm-hmm.
cameras are rolling. Huh?
Cameras are always rolling.
The Whiskey's manager put in an urgent call to Boston police.
You need to get here right away because I don't know that it's going to not recycle on top of each other.
Detectives raced to the restaurant and got here just in time to unplug the system and preserve this key video. Now, more than 3,000 federal agents and police were in the hunt. The FBI was conducting aerial surveillance on more than a dozen possible suspects in the Boston area.
We were desperate. I mean, we were absolutely desperate to figure out who these guys were.
The manifest of every international flight were scrubbed.
We had no solid indication to say they were still in the area or even in the country or wherever.
Then late on Tuesday, the photos of Black Hat and White Hat were run through the FBI's brand new billion-dollar facial recognition software.
It didn't get us anywhere, unfortunately.
Manufacturers were boasting that the software could be used to match suspects under surveillance with official photos. That did not happen in Boston.
Facial recognition software at that time was good to compare driver's license and passport photos to other driver's license and passport photos. It didn't help with the photos and the videos that we had.
We do not know whether this is the act of an organization or an individual or individuals. As the FBI has more information, as our counterterrorism teams have more information, we will make sure to keep you and the American people posted.
There was pressure from Washington, D.C. The president's being briefed. FBI headquarters were working with them, hourly, and there's this constant check. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? These people weren't killed in the blast, where are they going to be next?
That was
And
the concern.
That was the concern. What's next? Where are they?
All right. Let's play part 3. Part 3. Let me cue it up. Let's keep going.
The first explosion happened about 10 or 15 seconds later. There was a second explosion.
Another ambulance down here at 755 Boylston.
Good morning, America. Major developments in the Boston bombings.
Police are looking for any clue that can help them solve who was behind the blast.
You could see everyone in white suits on their hands and knees collecting the physical evidence. And they were up on rooftops. They would just swarm in the area, meticulously collecting every piece of evidence. Shreds, banners, anything that could try to put this bomb and these devices back together.
The FBI actually used a satellite overhead to record precise GPS coordinates where each shred of evidence was recovered in the 24 square block crime scene.
We can pick up all the pieces of a bomb, put it back together, then start to track those components, who purchased them and where did they purchase them. And on top of that, try and get forensics off of them, hairs, fibers, fingerprints, DNA, and then really start to trace it back to the bomb.
Keep in mind, all of these techniques are used in the Idaho case.
Bomber. There was so much blood. There was so much devastation to human tissue and everything.
The FBI set up a giant warehouse to store and catalog each piece of physical evidence.
We actually had pieces of the backpack that were found there.
This is from the actual backpack.
The actual backpack.
The zipper is still there.
We also have bits of shrapnel from this. You can see the BBs, ball bearings, and you can see the epoxy with which they were glued together. Again, the tremendous damage they do to human flesh and human tissue.
The damage done by the BBs can be seen in the x-rays of the victims. The BBs are the little white dots.
Ouch.
Cut right through.
Absolutely.
More than 160 cell phones recovered from the crime scene.
They're all marked with biohazard tape. That's because most of them were found with blood on them. We had to look at every single one of these phones because at the time, initially, we didn't know if these bombs were time fused, if they were mechanically operated, or in the case of the cell phones, could they have been cell phone detonated?
But the most important physical evidence found in the first 3 days were pieces of the pressure cookers turned into bombs.
So this was the top of the pressure cooker.
That was the top of the pressure cooker device.
From the
scene one.
first bomb that went off.
Exactly.
It blew sky high in the first explosion and was discovered on the roof of a nearby hotel. Even more important was the bottom of the pressure cooker.
Part of the reason why it was so important was because it had the manufacturer's name and a serial number on it. So we literally created an investigative cell right off the bat to learn everything we could about that pressure cooker or pressure cookers of that type. Who manufactures them? Where are they manufactured? How are they distributed? Where are they sold?
The FBI team tracked the pressure cooker to a Macy's store in Boston, where one person had bought 5 of them in the months
Like
before
the Isotona gloves O.J.
The
Simpson
pressure cooker
wore.
provided another clue.
Traced
Al-Qaeda
right back
had
to the
produced
store.
elaborate instructions online about how to build pressure cooker bombs.
You're very
Could end
true.
up being someone else, but right now it has all the indicators in every aspect of being a Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda affiliated attack.
This is a very similar device to the IEDs that we have found throughout Afghanistan used to kill our soldiers.
But while the FBI kept quiet about the evidence it was gathering, speculation and conspiracy theories took hold.
There was all kinds of misinformation flying around Boston. It was absolute chaos because for days we've been hearing rumors about a man with a baseball cap or a Middle Eastern man with a...
You're watching it, Christine. This is the best video right here, the ones that I'm playing. There's no one else out there that can compare to this content. I mean, you're getting a first look. You're getting FBI perspective. You're getting what was going on in the media that day. You're getting footage. You're getting photographs. This is by far the best breakdown that I've seen on this, besides the bullshit movie that they put out. And I'll be talking about that before I end the stream. Mr. Wahlberg and his bullshit movie.
backpack and police were just awash with rumors and stories.
Internet sleuths
You can just type in Boston bombing, like day 1, day 2, day 3, and it will connect you to all of the videos.
spotted a figure on
Or
a
you can just go
rooftop
back and watch
just
my
as the
stream.
bombs went off.
I want to ask you about a photo that everybody was emailing today. It is a man standing up on top of a roof. You see it right
It's fine. Wow, it's all shades of Idaho. All the little things and the conspiracies and the who this people.
there. What do you know about it?
Well, it's very intriguing, but authorities here say they're giving it no special priority. It's one of many tips and leads they're following. The New York Post published this photo of.
So I just want to let everybody know that movie Patriots Day is soaked in a lot of bullshit and a lot of untruth. The character that Mark Wahlberg played in that is not even a character, a real person. Basically, what he did was he fucking pumped this movie out in a year to make a shit ton of money off it. There were reports in Boston newspapers that he went around to a lot of the victims and got their stories and then took their stories and molded it into the character that became Mark Wahlberg's character in the movie. It was a disgusting portrayal of what he did. And, he made it seem like every fucking corner that he turned in that movie, he was dead set in all the action. It's pretty disgusting. He didn't pay any of the victims or give them anything to help them. I remember there was a Boston Herald article that came out with one of the victims that was on the front, and they literally had 30 vials of medication that they had to take. And they talked about how Mark Wahlberg came and interviewed them for their story and said that they would be part of the movie, and basically just took it and ran with it. And he made a shit ton of money and didn't hardly give anything. I think he gave around like $200,000. And that movie probably made over like $50 million, probably more than that. And I know that a lot of people in Boston were pissed off about that movie, and a lot of people were pissed off at Mark Wahlberg. I'll talk about that towards the end of the stream, but that's my feeling on the bullshit movie that was made.
Two young men who had been the subject of the law enforcement inquiry. The editors
Got
unaware
a lot of shit
that
from
the
Boston.
FBI had already
Because that motherfucker moved out of Boston many, 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 many years ago. He went out to LA to become an actor and then inserted himself back in here because he saw an opportunity. Came in, whipped this movie up in a year. They put it out, and he made a shit ton of money. And it's disgusting what he did. Granted, Mark's a great actor, but I just can't support him in that sense. It's just really gross. It was a money grab. All those fucking Hollywood assholes made a shit ton of money off people's tragedy and barely gave them anything. It's pretty gross.
They were not involved.
As soon as it came out, we knew it was wrong. We knew what we had in that command post.
And then Wednesday afternoon, rumors of an arrest turned into real news stories, completely false.
One of our sources is from our national security contributor, friend Townsend. One of sources is a Boston law enforcement source who tells me that an arrest has been made.
All of a sudden, I started getting the calls and people telling me they got the suspects.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely false.
I agree, Mama.
But it took off on social
If you really
media.
cared.
Absolute positive wildfire. People were confirming it all over the place.
My mother called me. She said, "Oh, congratulations, you called him." I'm like, "No."
Your mother actually
Yeah,
called.
yeah. She called me. Like, and my mother, no, she doesn't call me during the day. She knows I'm busy, but she called me. I'm like, "Oh no, and we didn't catch anyone."
But officers and agents in the field searching for the bombers started to wonder if they could now stand down.
I went into our operations center, got on the radio, and cleared all the channels and said that rumors of the suspects being caught are not true. Everybody continue to do what you're doing. Be careful, but the two suspects are back out there.
By the evening, the sobering truth of the matter was clear. The two actual bombers were still at large, able to attack again.
Do they think that they've gotten away with it? Do they say, geez, they don't know who I am? We have times on our side.
The older Tsarnaev, Tamerlan, was at his home in this Cambridge apartment building, where he lived with his wife, Catherine, and an infant daughter. An accomplished boxer, no one at his gym had any idea of what he had done. The younger Tsarnaev, Johar, went back to school at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. Surveillance video shows him at the school.
So here's a crazy thing. People that I worked with were at UMass Dartmouth at that time. They never met him, but they know of him on campus. And I remember they were saying that the FBI came down with a SWAT team and cornered off the school for a couple days and was searching for him there. So it's pretty crazy. They have photos of all the FBI and SWAT teams all down at UMass Dartmouth.
Gym the day after the bombing.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you, Chosen.
Living his
Thank
life.
you.
Absolutely. Going to the gym, hanging out with friends.
And friends would later say he showed up to several parties that week.
Yeah, I
He was
mean,
known
it's
as a
it's
low-level-
true, but a lot of those movies for 9/11, they did a lot of donations to the 9/11 cause. And, you know, they played actual people that were affected in true life. Mark Wahlberg made a fucking character up. It was a vanity project to come in and take opportunity of the situation, and he took money from that and hardly donated anything to help any of the victims. So I got a problem with that. I got a real problem with it.
Marijuana dealer.
As we were trying to figure out who these guys were, where they were, you know, we were in this frantic effort. We knew what they just had done. They were out there. They could be planning to do something else. We've got to stop these guys.
But not before there would be more bloodshed.
I believe Mark Wahlberg was the writer of that movie, and he directed it as well too. It's a bullshit thing. I mean, look, you might not agree with me. Listen, I'm from Boston. It pissed me off. It pissed off a lot of people around here, and he still gets a lot of shit from that. The problem is that he donated squat to the victims of that movie. He took their stories and basically turned a fucking character out of thin air, took everybody's story and squashed it together and made this fictional character so he could jump into the movie and fucking act like he was this police officer that day. It's bullshit. And I'm sorry, it affects me. And I just don't respect the guy for that. It's a bullshit movie. It should have never been made.
And death.
All units, respond. Officer down. Officer down. All units, officer down.
All right.
We need assistance immediately. Let's report a shots fired at officer. Shots fired at Watertown police officers.
My pistol ran out of ammo. I had to reload. He was still shooting. I reloaded. It turned out I emptied my pistol at him.
Right, he produced the movie.
There's explosions
So,
and gunfire.
You're getting acting credits and producing credits. It's a lot of money that filtered into his pocket from that movie.
Going on down the street.
These eyes, possible dynamite type explosives, and they're throwing it at the officers that are responding.
I thought we were going to die. I mean, I truly thought that we were going to die.
The first explosion happened. About 10 or 15 seconds later, there was a second explosion.
Another ambulance down here at 755 Boylston.
Investigators hoping to close in on a suspect this morning. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Brian Ross leads our coverage from Boston. Good morning, Brian.
Well, good morning, George. There's a growing sense of confidence here this morning based on the FBI's discovery of a clip of video that appears to catch the moment when a man placed a bag with one of the bombs.
But those video images had not yet been made public, and the FBI spent Thursday debating whether making them public would cause the terrorists to strike again.
We knew it with eyes wide open that if we release those photos, we're basically telling them, heads up, guys, we've got your photos. We're coming for you.
FBI technicians spotted the bomber in the white hat using a cell phone just before the explosions. If the two bombers could be quietly identified through cell phone tower records, maybe they could be captured before they struck again.
The element of surprise is a huge factor for law enforcement when making arrests.
Now we do have this exclusive development.
But then the FBI says its hand was forced when a Boston TV station obtained one of the photos.
25 has now obtained a photo of one of the suspects, and we're going to take a look at it right there. You can see it on your screen, the man with the white baseball cap.
Did you ask that news organization to hold off?
Yes. Yes.
And what did they say?
Yes. They said, we'll give you a little time.
And so you had no choice but to go public.
Yeah, no choice.
The FBI agreed to give the TV station a 1-hour exclusive.
Good afternoon.
Before the head of the FBI Boston office, Rick DeLaurier, released the photos to the dismay of many of the field agents.
That went all the way down to Washington, D.C. That was FBI headquarters, Department of Justice, Eric Holder.
To the Attorney General.
Yes.
Today, we are enlisting the public's help to identify the two suspects. The photos and videos are posted for the public and media to use, review, and publicize.
The photos went around the world in minutes, and agents manned the phones to handle the expected deluge of tips from the public.
We told everybody, strap in. This is going to be a long night. Hopefully, we're going to get that call, that tip. And then we waited. But unfortunately, that one call that we were hoping to get, that didn't happen.
Not a single call that night from any of those who knew the Tsarnaevs, from school, from the neighborhood, from the gym. Radio silence until this.
Oh my goodness. All units respond. Shut up.
Now, this is literally the night that all fucking hell broke loose in this.
Officer down. Officer down. All units.
We hear a radio call that there's an officer down. And it turns out it's Officer Sean Collier at MIT.
The two Tsarnaev brothers, seen in this MIT surveillance video, had approached Officer Collier's parked squad car.
They assassinated Officer Collier in hopes of getting his gun.
After failing to get his gun, they run away.
And then it got worse.
911 recorded line.
We started hearing about a call for a carjacking.
This is the carjacking. This is the Asian guy. I think there's video of him out there, of surveillance video of him running and hiding. They may play it here. I'm not too sure. Let's take a look.
The brothers carjacked this black Mercedes SUV, forcing its owner to ride along.
They stole money from him. They took out money from his ATM. They even stopped to get gas and get snacks for what presumably was going to be their drive after that.
Their plan was to head to New York and
Well, because let me just read this really quick. I still don't get why Boston had to pay for Chechen's anger. That anger should have been directed at Russia in a proper way by speaking out against war and not killing the innocent. Well, Boston's a very liberal city, and that's what you get.
set off more bombs in
They're very
Times Square.
sympathetic to people that want to destroy
Mercedes
America.
owner escapes, dashing to another gas station.
Yeah, it's the
across
video
street,
here. Yeah.
cowering in fear that they will follow him.
911. Please help me, please. They have guns. Where are they? They're in the Shell gas station in Memorial Drive. They're in front of the gas station? Yeah. I just wrong. I just got it wrong. They say that they are they did the explosion, marathon explosion. They are Muslims.
The older Tsarnaev runs into the store to tell his brother what has happened. We gotta go. Johar drops his packs of Red Bull and Doritos, and they race away.
They started pinging that car, and they were able to see where it was located.
We got a call from Cambridge PD. They just pinged the phone numbers in the vehicle in question on the carjacking. It's in the area 6.
Now, keep this in mind. What did they do? They pinged phone numbers inside the car. Do you think maybe some of this could come up in the Idaho investigation? Maybe.
2 Dexter Ave, the 2013 Mercedes. Okay, now the vehicle's moving now, units. Okay, they're pinging the vehicle. It's 89 Dexter Ave. It's the vehicle that's being pinged.
Watertown police units moved in towards Dexter.
We're getting an update. There may be guns in the vehicle.
Say this was the street.
Sergeant John McClellan closes in with another Watertown officer, Joey Reynolds, just ahead of him.
I come around the corner and the bad guy's out, arms fully stretched out.
Reported shots fired at officers trying to stop the vehicle.
Shooting at the windshield of Officer Reynolds' cruiser.
Yeah, they had a gun.
Fired Attack Watertown police officers.
The bad guy switches from Joey to me and takes one shot.
These guys are the best. I love their accents. So deep Boston accent. And they're going to start throwing bombs here, pipe bombs pretty soon. It's crazy.
And puts it right through the middle of my windshield from about 120 feet away.
We need assistance immediately.
Who know the bombers? Who? The guy that got carjacked? They just carjacked him, if that's what you're asking. And they had a scanner on too.
Shots fired again. Shots fired again. We have 3 units responding.
So I stood here. I said, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I jumped up, threw it in
You're
drive,
right, Easy.
and I just jumped down right here, and I was following it. The
car's moving.
Car's moving, and I'm following it like this and just shooting right in between here, using the door as cover. So I probably took 12, 15 steps with the vehicle and saw the tree. I shut the door. I ran to the tree, and they think someone's in it the whole time. So you can see them shooting at it. You can see them throwing the bombs at it. And I'm like, geez, this is working. I'm like, I can't believe it.
We get a report from the patrol supervisor that these suspect has unpowerful dynamite type explosives with them. And they're calling it up the officers that are responding.
Now
They carjacked that guy. They just carjacked him.
Response.
And
they didn't know him. He was just pulled over on the side of the road. They carjacked him and got into the car. That's how they knew him. And then they got him to the ATM to get money, and they were going to just steal his car. But the guy ran. And then when they were getting food, he called 911. That's how they knew.
I fired 3 or 4 shots. It was positive I was hitting him, but he wasn't going down.
In more than 3 decades on the force, neither man had ever fired his weapon in action until this night.
Who did you hit?
Tamerlan.
Did he keep shooting?
He came charging up the street, shooting at me. So we're about 6 feet apart.
Right.
We ran up that driveway.
You're shooting each other?
Yes.
6, 7 feet apart?
Yeah, they told him what they did. Because they were going to have him drive to New York. They were going to have him drive to New York so they could bomb Times Square.
His pistol ran out of ammunition. I didn't know if it jammed at the time or what. He kind of looked at his gun, looked at me, got frustrated, threw the gun, hit me in my left bicep. He turned, he ran down back onto the street, took a left. I chased after him, and I probably left about 4 or 5 feet in the air and came down on the shoulders and tackled him.
We had 8 bullets in him, and he was still fighting us. The only I had was my empty gun, and I pistol whipped him. I was trying to knock him out. I hit him as hard as I could, 10, 12 times. Couldn't knock him out.
The younger Tsarnaev, now back in the Mercedes, runs over his brother, just missing Pugliese.
And I'm laying there, and I saw the front wheels go over Tamerlan. I saw him bounce up and underneath the undercarriage a couple of times. I saw him get hung up in the rear wheels and get dragged 20, 25 feet.
All officers responding. We have 1 body pinned down, and we have another one on the run. Shots fired.
And all we saw was taillights at that point.
Police fired as he fled. They missed him, but a ricochet wounded a transit police officer who had responded to the scene.
Once other agencies started showing up, they said to us, "Do you know who you have here?" And we said,
"Speed bump."
A couple of guys that carjacked a car.
And he goes, no. Do you know who you got? These are the Boston Marathon bombers. And I'm like, what? I'm like, how do you know that? He's like, we've been chasing them all night. These are them. These are the guys. I'm like,
So is this black hat or is this white hat? Who's the dead guy? I mean, is this bigger than these 2 people? Is this a cell? What do we have here?
All right, part 5, and then this is going to end up the series here. It should play to the next one. Yep. This is going to play it out, and I got a couple short little things before we close up the stream, so probably about another 20 minutes or so.
People to shelter in place, in other words, to stay indoors with their doors locked and not to open the door for anyone other than a...
I mean, this is literally what the city of Boston looked like. It was crazy. It was no one out.
Law enforcement officer, and that applies here in Watertown, where we are right now, and at this point, all of Boston.
Val Patrick.
You know, we have to treat this like it's a snow day without any snow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All of the area became really a ghost town.
And we were going to house after
Yeah.
house, clearing them.
My friends have pictures because they lived in Boston at that time of the SWAT coming in and checking their house.
People were afraid in Watertown. You know, they would see a back door open that they didn't think was open before. We'd go into that house and clear. People were hearing footsteps in their homes. People were running scared.
Scared because of the shootout overnight. Left one bomber dead, another on the run.
We believe this to be a terrorist. We believe this to be a man who's come here to kill people. We need to get him in custody.
The first explosion happened. About 10 or 15 seconds later, there was a second explosion.
We spent about 10, 15 minutes trying to resuscitate this patient. At 1:35 in the morning, he was pronounced.
Who's the dead guy? We got to roll the prints of the dead guy. I said, find Jeff.
I got an email saying, get the quick capture system ready and meet everybody at the hospital. I actually brought it up to his hand and put his...
Let me just kind of put this statement out there. Jessica says, this makes me realize that not all cops are bad. Not all cops are bad. Do we have bad police in our society? Yes. Do we have bad, undertrained police officers? Yes. I tend to believe that 99% of all police in America are good cops. And the thing that I don't want to say that I laugh about, but the thing that I find very interesting is people that sit here and defame police departments, call them a piece of shit, pigs, this and that. The first time or any time that they're in trouble, who are the first people they're going to call to come save them? So think about that. These people curse them, they call them pigs, they call them this, they call them that. But the minute they're in trouble, who the first person or the first people they're going to call? So I'll just leave you with that thought.
his hand on there. And there was an instantaneous hit.
And what came back?
The identification of Tamerlan Tsarnaev.
That's the first time we, standing in the middle of that crime scene, know who they are. Now, we know who the dead guy is, and the fugitive is his brother.
He is dressed in a gray hoodie-type sweatshirt. He's a light-skinned
Extremely
or
stressful
Caucasian
job.
male with longer brown curly hair. You've seen the picture. You all have it. That's the individual that we're looking for at this moment.
And then police got reports from Boston's South Station of a possible pipe bomb and 2 more suspected terrorists.
So you're getting all that crap. Those
The
people
decision was
calling in.
made to put the city in lockdown to figure out what happened.
As the day unfolded, we realized that these 2 individuals had nothing to do with this, that the pipe bomb was not a pipe bomb, and that kind of was foreboding for
Right.
the rest of the day. One dead end after another.
At one point, the FBI thought it had tracked the younger brother's phone to a location near his college in Massachusetts.
I was on the phone with FBI headquarters, and Director Mueller was on the line. And I said, we don't have the search warrant ready. And I remember him saying to me, he said, well, if you're ready, then you go on my word. And I'm like, okay, roger that, sir. I'm not sure that's ever happened before.
The director of the FBI authorizing a raid without a legal warrant.
That was quite historic, I felt, too. And the right thing to do. When that came up dry, that was yet another, oh my God, moment.
So 6 hours of search and nothing, and about 6 more hours until it begins to get dark again, which gives advantage to suspect number 2.
I lost a lot of people who just kind of really passed out. Some people in the hospital.
From exhaustion.
From exhaustion. Absolutely. They were hospitalized from exhaustion. I was a mess. I was done.
As the day was about to end, there was no sign of the fugitive terrorist anywhere in the cordoned-off area. The entire city of Boston still on lockdown.
It became a point of, can we sustain this shelter-in-place order for this major metropolitan area?
In light of the status of the investigation here in Watertown and the developments in the course of the day, the stay indoors request is lifted.
The order to stay indoors has been lifted for the residents there, but they are told to be watchful because the search continues for a dangerous suspect. A long day becoming a long night.
At 6, when the governor lifted the ban, honestly, we didn't know he lifted the ban. All of a sudden, people started coming out of their homes, and we're like, hey, what are you doing?
Evans and his officers were about to head home until this.
911, this 9-3 recorder. What's the address of your emergency? 67 Franklin, Watertown.
The home of 66-year-old David Henneberry.
I have a boat in my yard. There's blood all over the inside.
There you go.
Person in the boat.
That's where he was.
Are you sure? I just looked in the boat.
468 Sunny Bank. Sir, I have a call from 67 Franklin Street. 67 Franklin. There's a boat in the backyard. There's blood all over the cover of it. And the RP reports there's a person inside the boat. Who are this?
Hello? Yeah. Can you look at the boat without making yourself noticeable? I can look at it right now. Okay. I'm outside. Go back inside. I can hear the... Don't put yourself in harm's way. Stay away from the boat. I'm not going near the boat. I'm absolutely not going near the boat.
And we were literally the first ones on that boat. And then I went on the air and said, we're already here.
What's the guy? Clear the air. I'm in the rear of the yard. I got eyes on the boat. We have to get on. Somebody's poking holes in the roof of the boat.
My worry was, it looked like he was poking with a gun.
Water tank control. There's someone inside.
Yes, he got
What's
shot.
the call gonna be?
And then they shot him multiple times.
Wait for SWAT. Wait for SWAT. They're en route there. Tell them to put a rush on it.
And then everybody was descending on 67 Franklin Street.
On their own, hundreds of agents and police responded to the scene, guns drawn.
And that's when the shot rang out. And I'm like, oh my God.
Shots fired, we have that.
More than 250 shots into the boat itself and dozens more into surrounding homes. This one missed a child's bed. Other rounds smashed into walls, vases, furniture in the homes of neighbors.
Hold fire, hold fire.
You know, I knew we had to stop that firing right away. And right away, I'm yelling on my radio and I'm yelling to my guys and they yell,
hold fire.
Hold your fire, hold your fire.
Hold fire, hold fire.
Number one, I didn't want him killed because we didn't know how big a cell and what information we had to gather. And number two, I knew I had policemen all around that boat.
I want all Watertown officers to pull back away from the house now. All Watertown officers, stay away, pull back from the house immediately. That's all Watertown officers, pull back.
Yeah, I remember that.
Away from the house immediately.
Only later did police learn that the man in the boat did not have a gun.
Who fired that first shot?
We still don't know. I can honestly say none of the Boston guys ever fired. I had good control over my guys at the scene.
Evans and his officers surrounded the boat as a robot was sent in to rip the canvas tarp off the top.
If they're able to successfully rip that off, he'll be fully exposed. Okay?
And I was talking about earlier that 5.0 app. You could hear all this live on that app when they were doing this.
Flashbangs.
Everybody
into
was
the boat,
listening to.
Smoke grenades. And then eventually they negotiated.
We have movement in the boat. He just sat up. He's moving, flailing about, quite a bit of movement.
They were able to talk him, to get him to sit up on the boat.
The suspect's in custody.
And then he was taken into custody, and 100% that's our guy.
The younger Tsarnaev was badly injured, but survived. As medics treated him, he asked what happened to his brother. They told him, "You will find out soon enough."
Job well done.
It was the best feeling I've ever had to be out there and to actually see people clapping for police was, something that I've never seen.
102 hours later, from the moment those explosions happened to his capture, it was the longest 102-hour day of our lives, I think.
Whether it was from the bombings to the first responders, the EMS, citizens, to just examples throughout those 5 days of the heroic efforts of everyone involved.
So I was proud to be a member of this department. I was proud to be an American. I was proud that we got the 2 people responsible for this bombing.
It was a very interesting rest of the half of the year on those times. Boston really pulled together. We had our Boston Strong theme. We did a lot for the victims, and it took us a long time to really heal from this. And we still never forget. This is all really still fresh in our minds. I'm going to turn this music down because I don't want to get whacked for the music, but I'll let this play out. But in my opinion, this guy should have been executed. This has been dragging on for so long, and now he's in prison. They got photos of him flipping the cameras off and all that shit. This guy's just a piece of shit. And his death sentence got overturned, and then it got reinstated. So he shouldn't be. He should just be gone. We'll just remember the lives that were lost here in a second. I didn't remember. Yep. Sean Collier. Didn't even know it was coming. Got shot in the head. That was the student. And Chrissy was killed down at the site. It's Martin Richard. 8 years old. Sad. All right. I got a couple more things, and then we're going to get this one. It's a long stream tonight. Let me see. Let me get through that. Yeah, I'm not even going to give tribute to that guy. So after all of that, baseball came back, and we had this.
We'll hand the ball to Matt Patterson, to Stephen Byrne, and to Dick and Rick Hoyt, symbols of our beloved Boston.
Yeah, they did question the wife. I had the video. I was going to play it, but I don't want to give tribute to any of those people. And that's disgusting.
And of our strength, our toughness, and our resilience.
Good night. Thanks for stopping by. You have to go. I understand.
Catching the ceremonial first pitch are Will Middlebrooks, Dustin Pedroia, and welcome back, Big Papi David Ortiz. Okay, Matt, Stephen, and the Hoyts, it's time for our ceremonial first pitch.
There's a really great moment that came out of this. If you haven't seen this, and you got to think, Boston Red Sox baseball is very, very important to us here in Massachusetts. And, David Ortiz, Big Papi, was a big figure in our lives around this time. So this is really good. I love everybody. Well, listen, and that's why I say, and I appreciate that, Christine, that's why I say it's a shame that we don't get the big crowds on these non-Kohberger streams. I think they miss out on a lot of the bonding here. I think they miss out on, to see history and go back and look at things, because it can't be all Kohberger all the time. It just can't be. We can't do that all the time. So, my show will go on, and the people that really want to be here and go through this and remember and give tribute to, people that were lost or we go back and look at history and have a little bit of an understanding, a better understanding of it. So let's play this out. I'm going to wrap this up because I know it's getting late for everybody. Yeah. I want to say Ortiz was retired at this time, if I remember, and he came back to do this. It is a nice memorial. A good tribute. This is great.
This jersey that we wear today, it doesn't say Red Sox. It say Boston. We want to thank you, Mayor Menino, Governor Patrick, the whole police department for the great job that they did this past week. This is our fucking city. And nobody gonna dictate your freedom. Stay strong. Thank you.
All right. That's great. It's a great moment. All right, really quick. I know you're all asking before we end this one up. This was the Mark Wahlberg controversy. Boston cool to Wahlberg's plan for marathon attack film. Actor and Boston native Mark Wahlberg plans to produce Patriots Day, a film about the deadly bombings of the 2013 Boston Marathon. And some say it's too soon. 2 words, too soon. That is overwhelming reaction to actor Mark Wahlberg's plan to produce Patriots Day film about the deadly bombings of 2013. Columnists, pundits, and others say that the pain and suffering caused by the attack is still too fresh and too real for families of the 3 killed and the hundreds of people injured thinking about making a movie. Wahlberg, who grew up in Boston, is taking a beating. How does someone market himself as a Boston guy and not see that it's too far soon, that the city is too sad for the trauma to be transformed into mass entertainment, wrote Ellie McNamara, a former columnist of Boston Globe who teaches journalism at Brandeis University. I'm not going to read the rest of this article, but I wanted you all to see what the public consensus of Mark Wahlberg was out there. I'm going to drop the link over there if you want to check out the article and read through it sometime tomorrow. I know the stream is late. We're coming up at about 2.5 hours, so I want to do, be good and end this stream at 11 o'clock. So let's do this before you all leave. I have dropped the link for Saturday's show. You are not going to want to miss that show. You're going to want to be in the chat. It's going to start a little bit later that night at 9 o'clock because I do have something that I need to take care of, but the stream will start at 9 o'clock on Saturday, and I plan to go probably 2.5 hours that night. We have a lot of material planned for that show. We have been doing, Laura and I in AZ has contributed as well. Laura and I and AZ have been doing deep dives into some information in that PCA. There is information right in front of our eyes in that Kohberger PCA that we're going to go over, and it's going to blow your minds. We have a presentation ready for it. You're not going to want to miss the show. We're going to open up the phone lines for the second half of the show. I'll take live callers. Hopefully we can get that 350 people in there again. We'll review and talk about the new camera footage as well that you saw at the beginning of the show. But set your reminders. Be there 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. Listen, I appreciate all of you for staying through this stream. All my channel members are here tonight. You all matter greatly to me. And all of the new subscribers that have come in. We had 4,000 subscribers. We're at 4,021 right now. The channel is blowing up. It's cooking. It's hot. I think 5,000 is going to come really soon. So I want to thank everybody for being in here. If you want to support the channel in any way, if you haven't, please subscribe. You can hit the join membership down there and join one of my paid membership. They start at $1.99. And always on the way out, smash that like button. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, I'll drop my email. opinionatedidiot@gmail.com. You can write me there. Also, I just updated on my community tab after the stream. If you want to get in, you're a paid member, get into our Discord group. You can go in there. When you get in, just change your name to your YouTube chat name so I can monitor who's paid up and who's not. Thank you all so much. This is a late stream, 2.5 hours. I will be back. Actually, you know what? I may do a midstream Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. I have Friday off from work. I may do a pop-up midstream, so keep your eyes out. It will probably be sometime in the afternoon, maybe noontime, 1 o'clock p.m. Give you a little lunch break content. Because I did last Friday a pop-up, and it was like hugely successful. I had almost 250 people in there, so maybe we'll do a pop-up tomorrow. But I definitely will be here Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Agent Chase is back on the panel. We're going to go through a lot. I have a presentation really quick. I got a super sticker from Victorine. Thank you, Victorine. I appreciate your support. $1.10 Canadian dollar. Yes, Laura, I got the email. Don't worry. I know who it is. They're probably playing around. They have a very playful attitude. Nothing to worry about. We know who it is. Turn on the bell notification, subscribe. Thank you all. Get some rest. Come back Saturday night or maybe tomorrow. Look out tomorrow. I may have a pop-up stream. Probably noon or 1 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. I will see you all either tomorrow, definitely Saturday, 9 p.m.
Steven.
All right. Good night, ladies. Good night, gentlemen. I'll see you all. We'll be in the chat in Discord if you all want to talk a little bit more. Bye.